Well, this is Reframing Christian Marriage, Part 3. Now, Pastor Dalrock writes that husbands are seen as helpmeets in modern evangelicalism. He goes through in the article about what Sheila Gregoire wrote in her book, To Love, Honor, and Vacuum. And this is a book from a while ago. Now she has a bunch of books out about like the Good Girl Sex Guide and all, like, really, it's like this woman's obsessed with sex or something. In the Anyway, she writes in her book, To Love, Honor, and Vacuum, that the Bible calls for wives to submit to their husbands. And so it's good that, hey, she actually puts that in there. But then she writes that many biblical commentators think that the meaning of the husband is the head of the wife in Ephesians 5 implies something similar to the source, like the head of the river. The wife draws energy and support from her husband, and then the husband finds part of his identity in supplying his wife with what she needs. Then she explains that wives who are too self-sufficient are depriving their husbands of the opportunity to fulfill their God-given role and rob themselves of the gift of being cared for. And she warns that such husbands will feel distant, perhaps even like a failure, even if they can't pinpoint what the actual problem is. What is she talking about here? What are wives really depriving their husbands of? All right, and then she goes on to say that wives should give their husbands the opportunity to do their share of the housework. Here's Sheila. She says, then take the opportunity to show him, this is to wives, that he's needed at home too. Often men feel superfluous at home. They don't feel like they belong because you manage everything. You should make honest requests of him that allows him to help support you and feel involved in building your home. Now, I know a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people. I would really like to know where these wives are that take care of everything in their home, where their husband literally does just nothing, that he just sits, he comes home, he's gone out, he's conquered the world now, and he comes home at 6 o'clock, he just sits, he does nothing in the home because his wife is just taking care of everything. What world is Sheila living in? Is she living like back in the 1950s or something? Like, this is 2023. What world is this woman living in? Anyway, though, besides all that, Pastor Dalrock writes, note the complete inversion of concepts of headship and helpmeet. In her framing, husbands were created to serve their wives, and it would be cruel then for wives to deprive them of the opportunity to serve her, his wife, both outside and inside the home. And so then she gives further instructions, including the quote, delegate appropriately for him, the husband. She says, if you want your husband to take responsibility for certain chores on his own without being asked, you need to find a delegation method that conveys to him what needs to be done without threatening him. Now, this is an inversion of roles, right? Because leaders delegate. And she clearly sees the wife as the leader and the husband as the subordinate, despite, giving some lip service to headship and submission. And then she follows with a table that explains how to translate straightforward requests into language the husband can understand. Which is funny. I'll put a link to the article. You can go and read it. But after the table, then, she suggests that wives give their husbands a list of chores to do. Here's what she writes. My husband is motivated by lists. If I just tell him I would like him to help clean up after dinner, he doesn't know what to do. But if I give him a list of daily and weekly chores on the fridge and he can see what is left to be done, he's like a Tasmanian devil just whirling around the house cleaning. This is nonsense. Come on. Where are these people at? Well, I'd like to just know, where are these wives at that just do everything at home, and the husbands have literally nothing to do around the house. The house is just so clean, perfect, wonderful. Where are these in 2023? Where are these women at? I just really like to know that. Anyway, if you got some thoughts, give me a comment. Subscribe to my channel. Even regardless of all this reframing of marriage, Christ is winning. He is building his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the Postmillennial Man.